So when I said there was a lesson learned for us in follow-up, really that lesson learned has been, we numbered the follow-up attributes before, so it was follow-up contact 1, number 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then there was a drop-down box that you could select, which point of contact that was. So those 5 points of contact I talked about, the pending, the admit, and so forth. That really wasn't working for us to be able to report healthy and strategic reports because our counselors were utilizing those data fields a little bit differently. So the way that they were entering information into those follow-up attributes really didn't allow us to get to what we wanted. For example, someone could be admitted right away. Their application could never be pending. Maybe they applied in person with everything that we needed. We processed them that day, they got admitted. There was never any pending communication, so that number 1 would have been an admit communication. However, student 2 could have been pending for 3, 4, 5 months, and then finally was admitted, so then that admit communication would have been in that follow-up 2. So you can see we're going to have a discrepancy in where that type of communication was entered. So now we've created these fixed attributes, and we've really just laid it out for our counseling staff. So pending follow-up, admitted follow-up, and so forth. What this is doing then is streamlining the process for communication. Everyone's utilizing this the same way, using the same method, so then we can start pulling reports. At this point in time, we could pull a report for any applicant throughout the year who has not had a contact for pending or a contact for admit. Then we can start making some informed decisions. It's also going to help you folks that have a large number of recruiters on your campus. It's really hard to keep a pulse on who's doing what for follow-up, and this is going to enable you to keep that pulse on what's happening so you know if one of your recruiters hasn't followed up with their students in a while. So you can imagine what these reports might look like, blank pending follow-up by counselor. If one person has 200 and everyone else has about 20 to 30, I would question what's going on with that person who has 200 empty follow-ups for that pending contact. So it just is really going to allow us to do a better job of working with our counseling staff and then also creating clear expectations for them of the points of follow-up that are really important for us in our communication plan. So some best practices, which you've probably heard me mention already, but create those reports that detail the points in time of your recruitment cycle you want your counselors to follow up with. So those were the 5 that we have identified. There's some other follow-up points in there as well, but really laying it out and identifying what are the key components to success. What do I want my counselors to follow up with? And then integrate that into creating attributes that will help you, create some great reports through this structure. Also, utilizing those goal gauges to keep your counselors on track. I know it's really exciting when our counselors finally start to see those numbers uptick and they're getting closer and closer to goal. It does keep them motivated, and it's something that they really like to look at daily. Then also building those attributes, again, that allow for your leadership team to track that ad hoc communication. So that kind of plays into what I was talking about before with those customized attributes.